sometimes if it's too long, it starts crashing. I don't want to have that happen. Anyways, I did my translation studies, yeah. And at that point, my perfectionism was, I wouldn't say absent. I thought it was absent, let's say like that. It had at least like lowered a lot, because again, I realized that it doesn't matter what you do. And I realized that in Korea, funnily enough, paradoxically enough, I realized it because in Korea, if you write a paper or anything and you hand it in, you don't get feedback. It's just like, okay, you have to do it, but we might read it through. I don't know if the teachers read it through. I have no idea, because they don't give you feedback. They don't even give you a grade necessarily. It's just at the end of the semester, you just get one grade for that subject. And the way they do it, you don't get to see that. But I know for a fact that it's just, like, oh, do I like this person? You start out with like a B, because they do like the BE, but I don't know, the American system or something. So they kind of start out with a B. Everyone gets a B, but then they start like, okay, this person, did they listen to my advice? Did they participate in class? Did I have a good impression of this person? Then I give them an A. If not, if I cannot really remember them, but I'm sure they were in my class, then they still have the B. But then if I remember that they did ignore my advice and they did not do the things the way I would have wanted them to do it, then you get a C. If you didn't show up in class, then you fail because you didn't show up. That's literally what happened. So and then at that point I was like, what the hell am I putting all this effort in then? Why am I putting my effort in writing this whole paper, which I'm very proud of, and then this person is like, well, I just don't like you, so I give you a lower degree, like a lower grade, and I'm not gonna look at it. Anyways, it makes me really angry. So coming back from Korea, I was like, I had this mindset like, it doesn't matter because no one cares. Why would I care if they don't care, right? Why would I care about what I do and hand it in for them? Because they want me to do it, but then they don't really care about what I do, right? Why then would I care about it? Anyways, that was my mindset. I came back to the Netherlands, and at this point, my identity had become translation, because I felt very confident in my translation skills. And I had already done some translation subjects in bachelor degree, and the teacher back then was very proud of me, and I felt very proud of myself, and I was like, this plebs, like these scum of the earth, don't even know how to do things. But so I was very like confident when I started my translation program, and then I but my grades for translation, specifically for this translation subject, because we had multiple subjects, but for my translation subject, never got higher than a 6.5. Whatever I did, it didn't matter. Did I follow the advice of the teacher? Yes, even though I did not agree with it, I still implemented it, and still I did not get higher. He always gave me same grade. So yeah, at that point I started to get very frustrated. Like, first of all, I don't like feedback. So the first time I did open my feedback, and then everything was very negative, and I have a lot of anxiety for rejection anxiety. Maybe you've noticed in the rest of the story, but it kind of ties in together with it, and I'm trying to figure out how exactly it is all like connected to each other. So I'm still in the process of figuring that out, but I'm just throwing out my observations so far. So because of that rejection sensitivity, after I opened that first feedback, I did not open any of the feedback in the rest of my 2 years, because I just couldn't handle it. It gave me so much stress and anxiety that I was just like, I don't know, I cannot do it. And obviously, in class, we also discussed it. So I did, get some takeaways from that. It's not that I totally didn't learn anything, but I just didn't open my personal feedbacks. And because whatever I did, it didn't matter. It didn't have an influence on my grade. That idea of well, it doesn't matter what I do, kind of gone. Oh, I had to turn this on and I forgot. Oh no, there's no water in it. Gosh, wait a minute. I bought like a what's this called, a humidifier, because the air is so dry in the winter time here. Anyway, I'm a little bit tired. But this is one of my, I wouldn't call it attachment anxiety, but some form of anxiety in relationships, and just generally letting people in, like close by. Like even my friends, I don't really like sharing like my when I'm just myself in four walls, because I'm afraid that I'm weird. To me, being normal and being perfect are kind of same, and I am neither of that. I don't know. If I'm not perfect, I'm not normal, or if I'm not normal, I'm not perfect. I don't know. I don't know if I'm normal because I don't know what normal is. And yeah, I can also not be perfect because everyone's perfect is different. But still, so like I said, I wonder, why can I not adopt that same mindset as like, it doesn't matter what I do because there will always be people who don't like it? And then comes in the control part, because I like to be in control. I like to have things my way. I like to have things my way, and if I cannot have it my way, like in my head, I can make people like me by just being perfect, right? That's my kind of my control thing. Like I can control the way I look. I can control my image that I project to other people. Like I can make it look like I'm perfect. And then in my head, because I do that, I have the control on other people to like me for the perfect version of me that I am at that point in time. But it's just fake control, right? It's just a perceived control. It's just because I don't actually have control. Even with this idea of, oh, I'm gonna show them my perfect self so they'll like me. That's not control. That's not true. They are not gonna like me because I show them a vision of like a version of myself that isn't actually me, because then they like that version of me, even if they would like that, right? So they're never gonna like me for who I am. So that idea of of control is even not correct. It's just giving myself the feeling that I'm in control because I like it so much. I like so much to be in control that I seek ways of making myself feel in control. So there's like this other realization I had a few, like maybe a year or half a year ago, where sometimes there is these situations where things happen that you don't really know. There's, for example, we've all had these moments where there's just a guy that starts talking to you first, and then when you show interest back, they just disappear from the planet without any reason. At some point in my life that happened, and I was at a loss because this, the control is gone, because now I'm left in this situation where I am feeling very negatively and I cannot change it. I cannot force this person to like tell me what the hell is going on, why I want to understand it, but I cannot understand it because this person holds the key to the understanding and I cannot force them to give me the information, right? The control is gone, the situation, I am kind of like this ball floating on the ocean, like I cannot do anything. And it makes me so, it feels so bad. It feels so bad. I want to be in control. I want to understand. At that point, I started to do like the tarot cards. Like I didn't actually have tarot cards, so I used normal playing cards. You can do tarot reading with playing cards. Even though I do not really believe in these things, like even like the horoscopes things, right? Even though I do not believe that there's actually like a force, like an invisible force that like chooses the card for you, right? And tells you what's actually going on. But it gives me a fake a fake idea of being in control again, because now I have my cards, I have the answers on my table on the cards. I can just ask like, what the hell, why did this guy not reply to me? And I pick a card, I lay it down, and the answer is there. And then I think I know, I think I'm in control. I just accept it as it is, even though in the back of my mind I know this is bullshit, this is not, how it works. But at least I can make myself feel in control again and feel more at ease. That's when I realized that it really is just this idea of being in control. It doesn't matter how I make myself feel in control. There's always my behavior is always kind of guided into that. If I feel at loss of control, I can even get like, what's that called? Derealization, episodes of derealization, where I'm just like not feeling in touch with reality anymore. So it's kind of bad sometimes, but yeah, so control is a very big thing in that. But so I realized that trying to force my perfect version on someone else is also a form for me to control or fakely control, have how can I say, like a perception of having control on how people see me, on how people perceive me, even though that is not really how it works. So then comes the question, can I get it? Can I let that go the way I can let it go in my translations? But in my translations, I actually am in control because I translate this on my own. I am the one making the choices. So I do not have to have it perfect because, like I said, it's just like idea that, okay, people don't care, so why would I care? And then at the same time, I am in control, so I do not have to make it perfect to control something else. But in this case, I cannot control other people, right? I cannot control them into liking me. So should I just accept that no one is gonna like me? But then there's this idea of control is still gone. And because it's so important to me, there will always be a way in which my behavior will strive towards a certain form of control. So I guess that the takeaway of this is that I have to look for a different way of control where I can feel in some sort of control at some point when socializing with people. So let me give you an example. Yesterday, like, no, that's just in general, is if there is a handsome guy, I'm like, oh, he's handsome. I cannot talk to those people because I'm scared that they might not like me. I think like they are so perfect, I have to be perfect too. And also, I like them and I want them to like me. How can I do that? The control again, right? I cannot force them to like me, but I can control myself. So I just make myself into this perfect vision or perfect version of myself and present it to them, even if I would do that. But then knowing that I am not perfect, I do not actually dare to go up to them because I, how can I show them an imperfect version of myself, right? That's not, I cannot do that. So that's how my brain works. But then lately, I try to kind of get out of that comfort zone and try to reach out to handsome people and kind of like try to talk to them. I tried that last time I was in Korea as well, like trying to talk to the dance teacher. It's so hard. It gives me so much stress to talk to these guys, because I want to be perfect, and especially in Korea, having to speak Korean, and I am not perfect. Like, I cannot speak Korean perfectly. Having to speak in a language that I cannot speak perfectly to a person who I want to be perfect for. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, so yesterday, so in the volleyball, I tried this as well. And there's like this guy that I think is pretty handsome. He's pretty cool. He plays very well. So I was like, oh, I need to practice. I want to practice this, being able to approach and just normally talk to people that I think are handsome or amazing or perfect, whatever, without being so obsessed with my own perfection or imperfection. So I was like, what can I say? I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask for advice on playing volleyball because he is so good. Um, so I did that on over text because I don't know to speak to people, okay? And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna teach you something on in during the practice next week. But then came the practice and I was like, fuck, now I have to I have to talk to this person and I cannot do that because you know what if he's gonna tell me something and I cannot understand it because again my Korean isn't perfect. There's a lot of words I don't know. Sometimes I might have known the words but I don't understand their pronunciation or something, or I just overthink it, I don't know. And then what if I have to tell him something and I don't actually know how to say it in Korean? I will look like a fool. And I don't want that. I don't want to look like a fool in front of this person. But then again, during the photo practice, just I'm I'm making a lot of mistakes, and then I feel stupid. And then if you run, if my bangs are going like walk, and then it's like, oh no, I look stupid. I'm not pretty anymore. I'm not in control. Like my bangs are going everywhere, my hair is going everywhere. I'm sweating. My face is red, and now I'm this weird animal. I'm not perfect. How can I present myself to that person if I'm not perfect? So I just ended up ignoring him and just like avoiding him like I do with everyone that I find remotely interesting. Because yeah. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I forgot there's like three. No, I don't know. I'm sorry. So my identity right now is someone who can play volleyball because, or at least in the volleyball, I think that they think that I am good in playing volleyball or that I should be good at playing volleyball because I've been playing volleyball since I was young. I stopped because of my eating disorder, so I haven't played for a long time, for at least 10, 12 years, maybe, even if not longer. Then, so when I came to Korea last time, it was like maybe 10 years that I hadn't played volleyball. I started, it was pretty good because I had gained some muscles and It was fun. I got better. I got a lot, and compared to the other girls, I had a lot of power in my hand, in my arms. So I became like the healer, and they were all very enthusiastic of my abilities, of my skill set. But then I got this idea that, oh, these people think I'm really good. Now I have to be good because they think I'm here. But if they realize I'm actually here, they might not like me anymore. They might be like, "Yeah, you always told us you were amazing, but you're not. What the hell? Why are you lying to us?" Or even if it's like other people have told them that, "Oh, this girl's from the Netherlands. She's very good in volleyball." Then their expectations are here, and then I come in and I'm like, and the ball's like, you know, and then, oh, she's actually here, and then they're like, you said she was good, but look at that piece of shit. She's like never hitting the ball right, and like she doesn't even jump when she's hitting. What the hell? These other girls are way better. Like they're stronger. They're actually hitting the ball right. And I'm not the best player in the team anymore. Actually, even in the women's section, there's other women who are also very good. Um, I cannot compare the levels, but I'm definitely not the best. Um, but now, so I feel very stressed and under pressure because my identity or my perceived identity or the identity I think that other people see in me, like, oh, this girl from Netherlands who is very good at volleyball, isn't actually the truth. So I'm stressed because what if they find out that I'm not perfect, right? I cannot do that. But then I am under pressure, and like I said, I cannot perform under pressure, so it kind of spirals down into this, oh no, I make a mistake, and oh no, I'm stupid, oh no, I cannot do things, people think I'm stupid, people think I cannot do anything, they thought I was perfect, but I'm not perfect, they know they don't like me anymore, I'm not special anymore, I'm not that girl, like my identity is at threat because now I'm not that girl that was good at volleyball anymore. I've become a nobody. I've become just that girl from the Netherlands that plays volleyball, among other things. Because, and then there's this idea that I think I've also talked about that, the identity thing, that I've always had this idea that I'm not good at anything, that I do not stand out in anything in particular. So my sister, it's very clear that she is a very good swimmer. She has always aced in swimming. She has done like not Olympics, but high swimming, and I've never been on that level. My brother is very good in IT stuff. He does everything with IT. He's self-taught in that. He does amazing things. I don't even know what it's called. I couldn't say anything about it because I don't know. Then my best friend in high school, she's an opera singer. Even in high school already, she had to skip classes because she was practicing these things, and she was amazing. She is amazing. And then my other friend, well, they all had something, right? He was good in philosophy. That person always got tens, and then so in high school, because I couldn't do anything well in primary school, I was the girl that could draw very well. I was the best drawer of the class. But then there was this my friend who could also draw amazing, and we had this kind of competition, or at least I had this competition with her that if she won the drawing competition, then I was no one anymore because then she became the perfect girl, like the girl that could draw perfectly, and I was, well, who was I then if not the girl that could draw perfectly? So in high school, I kind of like distanced myself from any form of art because I didn't want that competition, that identity competition anymore. So that's why I also gave up on art. One of the reasons I did that. And I instead did this study thing. So my identity became the girl that studies a lot and gets good grades, even though I didn't get the best grades on my school in my school. But I was at least the person that studied a lot and didn't do anything fun. I don't know if that's an identity you like to have, but because there was nothing else I aced in, I wasn't nobody yet, except for maybe the girl with the eating disorder. I don't want to be that girl because first of all they said like I had anorexia, but that wasn't the truth. Okay, anyway, then in university, I don't really think I did have identity there or any strong need for an identity. I don't remember at least. Maybe the girl that didn't follow that just did her own thing. Like I started out doing two bachelor degrees. After 2 weeks, I stopped that because it was too much. But I wanted to be something special, right? I just embraced my eating disorder identity at some point because I realized that it helps to have a disability and be like, oh, sorry, I cannot do this because I just don't have to do the things that I like socially, anxiety and stuff, I don't know. So at that point, yeah. And then when I came back from Korea, I had this identity of being Korean translator. I'm becoming Korean translator. But then I realized there's more. My idea was that I'm gonna be the first Korean translator, but then I realized there are already 4 others I didn't know. So now my identity of being the Korean translator is also shattered because I am not the Korean translator. The most famous or the well-known Korean translator is someone else who has been to Korea before me and who has already done a lot of translations. So then I came to Korea without really having an identity, but then my identity became this the girl that like at least in the context of the volleyball, the girl from Netherlands that can play volleyball well, and now even then I cannot do it. So something that my identity is kind of based on something that I am good in or that I'm unique in, right? And I don't really have that. Part of that is probably being era ace, but that is very. You cannot just go about and scream to everyone, "Hi, I'm era ace," that's my identity. So it's not really my identity. I don't want to be that person that's just screaming that like whenever they meet something. So I do try to bring it up, but also because I don't want people to have the wrong idea. Like if I'm talking about a guy, like if I say, "Oh, there's a handsome guy," I don't mean that I want to go into the bed with him, right? So I don't want people to get the wrong idea of that. So I try to bring that up in time or whenever possible, whenever the situation is right for that. But it's not really an identity that I can fulfill my entire personality with. Like, so at this point, I don't really know what my identity is, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. It was just as an example of how this idea of perfection, being perfect in something, and that being my identity, or people perceiving me as that person, like, oh, she has translated Korean. For example, people in my academy might think, oh, she has already translated books into Korean or from Korean into Dutch, so she must be good in Korean. And then finding out later that I actually cannot speak Korean, like my speaking abilities are absent, then I am like very stressed because okay, they thought I was perfect or at least at this level, and then actually I'm here. So okay, yeah. So this is my I don't know monologue on the realizations I have on how my perfectionism is still there, how I cannot kind of let go of it always because there's this idea of being in control as well, and then there's also this idea of my identity or my perceived identity or the way people view me, which I think might be perfect, and I know I'm not actually perfect. So there's like discrepancy between the vision I present out there, or the vision that people perceive of me, and the actual me. and thus not feeling good enough because I cannot meet the standards that I think people set for me? Or is it actually the standard that I set for myself? Do other people care if I do not meet that standard? And if they care, is that on them or is that on me? Because the last thing I want to say is that I also realized that whenever there's this rejection thing going on, whether it's a small or a big rejection. So, for example, I text a person and they only respond in like 2 days, few days later, or they respond not at all, because that happens a lot, and that's why I also fear reaching out to people, because I'm afraid they will not respond to me. That is really that is a real fear, seriously, especially in group chats, because people always ignore me in group chats. I don't know why. So as also in the academy group chat, if I there's like a few people, 3 4 people who are most active and they respond to each other, but then if I try to engage in the conversation, it just dies. Just there's no response after that anymore, or they just skip it. They just respond to something someone else said before that, and I actually experienced that out. And people were like, "Oh yeah, this person said that," and I was like, "Actually, I said it first, but guys didn't even see it." They were like, "Oh, really? You did? I didn't see it." No, I don't know. I'm invisible or something. I don't know. But yeah, so then if that happens, I feel bad about myself. I'm like, yeah, see, I am not good enough. I'm not good enough. People hate me, or I am being a bothersome person because they ignore me because they just don't want to talk to me. They're like, oh, why did she text me again? Oh, why? Oh, I don't want to talk to this person, right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, if that thing's happening, like, oh, they think I'm annoying, or they think I'm stupid, or whatever. But then I realized that why am I blaming myself for their behavior? They are being very asocial. Like, they are ignoring me. That is mean. I would never. Okay, I did. Sorry. I have also ignored people. I'm sorry. I realized that, but it's only been a few. Maybe only one person that I can actively remember ignoring. Uh, yeah, because then it's too long since I saw the text, or since like they send you a text. I'm like, oh, I'll respond, and then you forget. Like, so, things like that happen, right? So obviously I don't know that. I know that people are busy, people don't have time, they forget or whatever. So, but it happens so many times that I'm like, people hate me. But then again, I'm like, why do I blame myself for their behavior? So there's two options, right? One option is, okay, they actually just forgot and now they are afraid to get back to it because it's been too long. Or the other option is that they really do hate me and they want to make me feel bad, or they do ignore me on purpose and they are being mean and whatever. Either of those options has nothing to do with me, because okay, they may not like me, but just ignoring a person because of that fact is a very mean thing to do. That is just bullying, right? I think. I wouldn't do that. I would consider that bullying. If I did that on purpose to someone, like I said, I would never do that on purpose to someone, because that is just mean, and I know how it feels to be ignored. So I wouldn't do that unless I have a very, very good reason. This person is a stalker or whatever. But then still, I would always just say like, hey, can you please stop messaging me or whatever. I would at least try to communicate that. So I'm like, why do I blame myself for their bad behavior? It's on them. They are the person who should be feeling guilty. Why am I feeling guilty for doing something that I think is good thing to do or whatever. Or like I just ask a question to someone, I just ask advice, or I just add a remark to a conversation trying to be funny, and then people just ignore me. I didn't do anything wrong until they might say like, hey, that was an inappropriate joke. Okay, then I did something wrong, but they don't say that, they just ignore it. Then it's on them, that's their problem, right? So I should be more, how can I say, conscious of having those kind of thoughts. Like if someone ignores me on text or maybe even in person or whatever, not blaming myself for it instantly, like, okay, I did something stupid. No, it's their thing. They didn't ignore me. Like last thing, I watched back a video like from the volleyball practice, and I realized that there was this guy standing there waiting for me to turn around so he could give me the ball because I had to serve. But I was so busy like talking to someone else, like, ah, and this person was like right behind me. He was just like standing with the ball like this, and I just totally ignored him. I only realized it because I watched it back. I was like, oh, this person. Oh, shit! I didn't realize he was there. And in the end, he just threw the ball like, and I was like, oh, the ball is coming! Ah! I have no clue that he was the person waiting with the ball and throwing it to me. I was just like so busy doing things. So I don't even remember. Oh yeah. I didn't even remember why I was talking about this. Anyways, but yeah, this person that threw the ball should not be feeling guilty for, oh, she ignored me, so I have done something wrong, or I'm annoying that I am here with this ball sitting there. If I was the person with the ball standing there and this person was ignoring me, I would probably feel like, oh, I did something bad, even though what the hell did I do? I was just waiting there with the ball to throw to this person, but this person just didn't realize it and they ignored me. So why should I be feeling guilty about that, right? So be more conscious of that. That's my takeaway. And I go to the toilet now. Bye.